listening to Owning the Buy Box, an IP Secure podcast. This is the podcast for agencies and brands who want to master Amazon, push out unauthorized competition, and take their business to the next level. You're about to hear a conversation that'll help you maximize your growth on Amazon by owning the Buy Box. Let's get into the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Owning the Buy Box. I'm your host, Dave Cooper. I'm also the founder and CEO of IP Secure. On the show, we oftentimes have brands, agencies, people who are selling online for a living. And the internet and e-commerce has clearly become an extension of our brand and a frankly critical component of the experience that your customers have with you. And so we'd love to have really smart people on the show who have different perspectives on this. And I'm really excited for today's guest. She's a two-time author, highly accomplished and experienced chief marketing officer. Today, she's with TwistedX Global Brands. That's Tricia Mahoney. Tricia, thanks for joining us.
Oh, Dave, thanks so much for having me. And gosh, to be included in this group, this is just super cool.
We're lucky to have your time. I know how busy you are. And I think that your story, I think that the company's perspective on some of these topics is both unique and interesting and would be really valuable for a lot of our listeners. I know that you've been in the marketing space for quite a while. How did you wind up at TwistedX? Maybe that's a great place for us to start.
Sure. I have been in the industry for a long time, both client side, agency side, kind of bouncing back and forth. Funny enough, I got connected with TwistedX through a recruiter. I was actually sitting on my back patio and just enjoying myself and got a call. And the recruiter asked me if I was familiar with the brand. And at the time I wasn't, and communicated that it was a brand and they were on a heavy growth trajectory looking for a brand builder. And as I had those conversations with the recruiter, I made it real clear. I was like, number one, I don't have footwear experience. And he was like, yep, we know. I said, number two, I don't have Western experience. And he was like, yep, we know. And in fact, that's why they were looking for someone outside of the industry that was a brand builder. And the process went fast. It was conversation to interview to offer in probably 48 hours. It was quick. It was fast.
What attracted you? I mean, so you said it yourself, like no footwear experience, kind of a new space, a new thing, beyond your desire to maybe do something different. Were there parts about this business that you felt were just special or different?
Yeah, it was both scary and exciting. And I mean scary, not that I couldn't do the job, but scary because there was no marketing. And when I say there was no marketing, I'm not kidding. There was a logo and maybe some billboard art and a couple of print ads. Like there was nothing. So that was daunting from the standpoint of when they were talking about brand building, literally everything for the brand. But then that was also thrilling for me because I love to build things and I get bored easy. So for me, I had a really big challenge. So I just thought it was cool. And I thought, gosh, boots and, cowboy boots and footwear is just fun. I had never been in that space. So I was like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, it's a big, highly competitive market. But, it's interesting because in the last episode that we just did recently, we also spoke to a market leader in their space, but they're operating very much in a niche. They do small home appliances, but like they are the market leaders in like tiny refrigerators, for instance. And so what seems to be happening is these really big markets like footwear, have developed niche markets below it, right? Over time. I mean, beyond things like sports and athletics, which have been around forever. I was sort of fascinated at TwistedX in how you've put together a whole catalog of products that really seems to cater to all these different needs, but all under this umbrella of modern themes like sustainability. I kind of find that fascinating. I read that Prasad Reddy, who I believe is the founder, right, and the CEO.
He's CEO, not founder.
Okay, but I did read a story about him, and he read a book 10 plus years ago and was moved by this book. It was about, I'm going to probably not call it by the right name, but there's this massive heap of trash in the ocean. And I was fascinated. I said, what an interesting story, and reason to, I think if you can combine really important elements like sustainability, environmentalism, if you can do good and you can create profits, that's a pretty special combination. And I don't think a lot of companies do that well.
Yeah, you're right. So Prasad had read a book, and it was talking about the garbage patch. And it disturbed him that he, as a human being, he believes that we should leave the earth a better place than when we arrived. And that's part of his mission. And for us, it goes beyond just sustainability. For us, it's about doing good in our community through philanthropy and the planet. But how we do it, we only do footwear. We do tons of categories. We have multiple brands, but we only do shoes. So how do we do good for the community and the earth through the products that we make and create? So for us, for Twisted X Global Brands, across all of the brands in the family, every single pair of footwear as of 2022 has at least one sustainability feature. So it's really important for us. That's a big piece of who we are.
The first description I found about the business was, to make the world's most comfortable footwear in the most sustainable way possible. That's a great goal. I think that's a lofty goal, and it's really interesting to me how passionate, some consumers can be about some of these issues. And I think they really do, not so much like our parents' generation and our parents' parents, but the new consumers of today, I think very much, if they have an option between, buying those boots from a company that is not doing anything to help the environment or causes they care about versus working with a company that does, they're going to choose the latter every time. So I just think it's really good. And to me, I love doing good things and also generating value at the same time. That's a great thing.
Who is in your buy box? That's the key question, and the difference between sales growth and brand abuse and revenue loss. Monitoring your buy box is the key to brand protection success on Amazon. At IP Secure, our analytics will drive your behavior. It's not about taking down more sellers, removing more unauthorized listings. It's about knowing who's taking your revenue minute by minute, and then adjusting your response appropriately, taking action when necessary, and recapturing that revenue. Visit us today, ipsecure.com, to learn how.
I read about the Cook Children's Collection.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Can you tell me about that? I was really, really fascinated by this as well.
The Cook Children's Project Collection was personally and professionally just so, it was so heartwarming. So Twisted X connected with Cook Children's Medical Center, where we brought together 4 of their patients. We do not call them patients, by the way. They are artists. So we brought together 4 artists, and they designed a pair of shoes. Each of them uniquely designed their own pair of shoes. When we originally embarked on the project, the intent was that we would probably take 1, maybe 2 into production. However, when we went into design day, where we went down, my team went down to the medical center and hands-on with the kids. Our chief design officer, Tuan Lei and our CEO, Prasad Reddy, were working hands-on with each of the 4 artists. They had all kinds of supplies. They had paper, they had uppers, they had markers and pencils and paint, and each of them kind of approached their design and their how they created their footwear very uniquely and very differently. And at the end of the day, each of the 4 designs were so unique and so good that we actually decided to take all 4 of them into production. So we launched the collection in January at the medical center, where we had a press event for the kids, and we had, media, all kinds of media outlets were there doing interviews with the kids, and it was only about the kids that day. And the collection is being sold nationwide at tons and tons of different retailers, and 100% of the proceeds go toward the medical center. And it's just amazing, actually. Honestly, it's truly amazing.
And what ages were the kids, the designers?
6 to 15.
Wow. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a dream for them to participate in something like that.
Yeah, and it's really so we had design day and then we had reveal day. So design day is where the kids designed, and reveal day was when we revealed the actual produced footwear to them. And it's so cool because the actual design that they created was almost close to identical, like as close as we could get it from their design to the shoes. There were no modifications on our side. We literally took it from their design to the shoes. And to see their faces and for them to, to be able to say that they're a Twisted X shoe designer, it was so cool. So
that is
cool.
Really cool. And I know when I go to your website, it's the first collection that's presented to me. And I thought, this is amazing. This is like the most, one of the coolest things that I've seen a company do. Where did the idea come from?
So Prasad, my CEO, he is a very, very kind, humble, giving human being. Philanthropy is one of our pillars. It's core to what we do. We are always working within the community. And for him and Tuan Lei, our chief design officer, they've worked together for so many years. And that was their dream. Their dream was to create footwear with kids. And they had been trying to figure out a way to do it. And Prasad was at an event where he was introduced to one of the Cook Children Medical Center's board members. And voila, boom, it was like email the next day. And then we were at the medical center within days from that, planning and basically mapping it out.
Yeah, it takes not only, the like kind of the willingness and the fortitude, but there's real cost. I mean, there's resources that go into, obviously, right, launching a new product, putting it into production, getting it out into consumers' hands. And I think the companies, should really be applauded for that level of investment in changing the lives of these kids. I think that's pretty special.
And the cool thing is, all along the way, we worked with all of from suppliers to factory to transportation, supply chain, retailers, like our reps, like everybody along the way decided to give. So this was truly like we are doing everything we can to have as many dollars go towards the medical center as we possibly can. It's really cool.
It's almost like Twisted X sells shoes on the side to really fund its altruistic endeavors of making the world a better place, right?
It's really true. Like Prasad says all the time, he's like, yeah, we've got to sell shoes to do the really important stuff in the world. And we do that we make really cool shoes. And
even beyond this, the company was, I read, 100% carbon neutral by 2020. So that includes your HQ, your factories, your distribution, everything, down to, soy-based ink and recycled paper for your catalogs, right, or other materials like that. And then I was reading about the Zero X collection, And I'm like, this is like everywhere you turn, there's a business, but the business, is really about, like you said, touching as many people in a positive way as possible.
It's true.
Pretty cool. That's pretty neat. I think if anything was going to draw you out of the agency space and into a new world, this seems like it.
Because at Twisted X Global Brands, we have multiple brands in the family. We do so many releases during the year because we have so many brands. And then we have so many initiatives and collections. And so it is part of our DNA where every 6 months we will come out with a new technology, a new innovation. And on top of that, then there's collections and partnerships and licensing agreements. And I mean, we go fast. And it's all about trying to do things that will make a difference in the world.
You've been listening to Owning the Buy Box, a show from IP Secure. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the show in your favorite podcast player. Please give us a rating, leave a comment, and share episodes that you love. That helps us keep delivering you the tools you need to sharpen your competitive edge and ensure your authorized sellers always own the buy box. We'll see you next time.